Chinese President Xi Jinping has sent a warning to President Donald Trump over supplying weapons to Taiwan. A direct conversation between the two leaders ended with positivity from both sides. However, the issue of Taiwan and its sovereignty remains a sticking point neither Trump nor Xi can ignore. The two leaders spoke over the phone on Wednesday, with President Xi calling for mutual respect in strengthening relations with the US. President Trump, true to form, took to Truth Social after what he called an excellent call.
The relationship with China and my personal relationship with President Xi is an extremely good one, and we both realize how important it is to keep it that way.
And the Chinese president expressed hope over resolving bilateral issues.
By tackling issues one by one and continuously building mutual trust, we can forward a right way for the two countries to get along. Let us make 2026 a year in which China and the United States, as two major countries, move toward mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation.
And US soybean exports were also a key part of the discussion. Trump said China is considering the purchase of 20 million metric tons this season, up from about 12 million. This will potentially help US farmers. Now, 2025 was a year brimming with tensions between the US and China. A trade war ignited with triple-digit tariffs imposed by either global power before the situation diffused after rounds of negotiations. China's key role in BRICS also caused friction, with the president calling out what he coined anti-American policies. But Taiwan has remained a point of contention with seemingly no immediate solution. The island is situated just 180 kilometers off the coast of mainland China and is home to around 23 million people. Taiwan has been self-governed since 1949, but the Chinese Communist Party maintains that it's part of its territory and has not ruled out using force for reunification. This dispute has been a source of wider regional tensions as well, with Japan and China recently falling out over comments on Taiwan by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi. And China has increasingly carried out military drills around Taiwan. Taiwan itself carries out regular drills, and this is where the US comes in. Washington is by far Taipei's largest arms supplier, while there is also major cooperation in the semiconductor industry. The US has provided defense capabilities to Taiwan for decades, and in December last year signed off on the latest with a mega $11 billion arms package. Shortly after, China simulated a blockade of the island involving the Army, Navy and Air Force. And despite the friendly tone post-phone call, President Xi made a clear warning to President Trump.
The Taiwan question is the most important issue in China-US relations. The US must handle arms sales to Taiwan with caution.
Now, despite these warnings over arms sales, Taiwan responded to the phone call with optimism. The island's foreign ministry hopes it will bring stability.
We don't worry too much about this whole telephone communication. In fact, we believe that it will contribute to stabilize the situation, especially given the fact that China keep on escalating the tension in the Taiwan Strait and this whole region.
And Taiwan's president highlighted the strong relations between Taipei and Washington.
Taiwan-US relations are rock solid, and our various cooperation projects will continue without change.
Now looking forward, in April, President Trump is expected to travel to China for in-person meetings with President Xi. Further discussions on Taiwan are set to take place, along with potentially trade and conflicts like the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, President Xi actually held an earlier conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin, just hours before his conversation with President Trump. So the general consensus is that the latest phone call between Trump and Xi was successful, providing dialogue and optimism in a relationship that soured repeatedly last year. But Taiwan remains a key part of China's ambitions, and the US have a stake in the game. Diplomacy and rhetoric are one thing, but the actions leading up to an April meeting in China could set the tone for Xi and Trump's discussion, especially regarding Taiwan.
The world doesn't fit in boxes, so why should your news? From battlefields to negotiation tables, from internet outrage to real-world injustice. The conversations everyone is having and the ones they're avoiding. It's the same show, but this new year, Firstpost America gets a new look. I'm Kerry Johnston, and this is Firstpost America.